If you fixate and fantasize on YouTube being your only income, I think you're setting yourself up for disappointment. This week I'm on a taper week for my marathon running, and basically what that means is I don't run like the normal 6 days a week. I just run 4 of the 6, which honestly worked out perfectly. I really wasn't looking forward to having to run in circles for like 17, 18 miles. All that to be said, I just woke up, I didn't run whatsoever, and I feel like I'm in a fog. Today we're going to the beach for work, and I think that's it. That's in 2 hours, so we have 2 hours to figure out what we're gonna do for the day. I do have some concerns about going back and forth because I do want to get some work done today, and working at the beach is typically, well, on a laptop isn't really I'll figure it out. One thing that I do appreciate about our room is where it's positioned. It's like a perfect catty corner to being able to see out into like the little harbor that we're backed up against. It honestly feels like something that would be out of a movie. Also, before I came out here, the maid came to our room and asked if I needed anything, and I just told her I needed toilet paper and water. But afterwards, there was this awkward interaction where we both just kind of stared at each other, trying to break the conversation or the interaction, but I didn't know how. It was one of those moments where you just walk away from it and you have to take a minute to process what just happened. We have an hour till we have to get on the boat to go to the beach that we're going to. I have no idea what's going on. I think it's really common, especially for newer YouTubers who aren't pulling an income from the platform at all. I think it's really common, at least in my case, to fixate on the day that you'll become like a full-time YouTuber, the day that the only income that you will ever get is from your YouTube channel. And for me, I know that I spent years like fixating on that, and I spent years just thinking about that one day, like how great that day is going to be. And the closer that I get to it, meaning that I pull a part-time income from YouTube. I'm not full-time yet, but the closer that I get to that goal, the more that I'm realizing that that's not necessarily what it's going to look like when that day comes. Update: we're actually renting bikes. We're not going on the boat. If you fixate and fantasize on YouTube being your only income, I think you're setting yourself up for disappointment. I think the traditional way of looking at finances and looking at like a job, a house, I think that has shifted drastically in the last 20 years, for sure in the last 5 years, to where it's more common to have multiple streams of revenue instead of just one specific stream from a company or a job that you work 40 years and then retire and collect that retirement after the fact. Before I go any further too, I want to, this is not financial advice. I am still trying to figure this out. These are just basic observations that I've and I think YouTube is no different. If anything, I think it's more important to have multiple streams of revenue. When you do, YouTube is one of those, because the views and the money can vary drastically. One month you can be doing great, and the next month you can just not be doing, and it's not because of the lack of work that you're putting in, it's just for some reason the videos that you're producing just don't hit. The bikes are over there. Now we have to walk to the beach. It's like a 15-minute walk, I guess. Now you can do like merch and everything else, but again, those are all based solely on your audience, and if your audience isn't watching your stuff, then chances are they're not going to be buying your merch. All that to be said, it's important to have multiple streams of revenue. Now, for me, I technically have 2 jobs. My first job, or one of the jobs, is this YouTube channel, making daily videos and trying to make them as good as I can. That's an all-day thing. My second job is for my wife and I's like production company. We shoot and edit videos for weddings and pretty much any other thing. This weekend we're doing something for a wedding. And honestly, I used to fantasize about not having to do anything for the wedding business and just only focusing on YouTube. And I think that was a mistake. Like I said, the further that I get into the whole YouTube world and making money from content that I post on the internet, the more I realize that, one, putting all my eggs in that basket isn't very like secure. It's not very smart. And 2, a lot of the content that I make for this channel is based on my other job. So if I get rid of that, then I'm kind of left with very limited things that I can share and talk about to this audience that you're interested in. So basically, all that to be said, I think moving forward, I'm gonna try to remind myself that like I have 2 jobs, and that's okay. and that's really cool. And if anything, this video is pretty much just me reiterating and reassuring myself that Do you remember yesterday when I talked about having to like change plans and react to different situations? That was what this was. We thought it was going to be a beach party because it was titled a beach party, and it ended up being three boats in the middle of the Caribbean. So we had to like wade out to those boats through the water, through like a bunch of like other people that were drinking and like waves. It was pretty, but we just finished that, and now I think we're gonna ride our bikes back to our little abode. We may try to get food on the way though. We were riding back home and we literally just pulled off to the side of the road because we saw this road sign talking about a food place, and we happened to be hungry, and it's actually pretty good, and the prices aren't terribly expensive. Like $7 for like fish tacos. Like that's not terrible. I think with the YouTube thing and just obsessing over like wanting to be full-time and wanting to just for that to be the only income, I think a better way of looking at that, instead of like making that the goal, or a better goal is just, can I make a full-time like creating or shooting using whatever tool that I use to create. I think for me personally, I'm gonna take the goal or the target from being like a full-time YouTuber to just being a full-time creator, whatever that looks like, whether I'm creating for myself or for somebody else. Because for me, that's what's most important, and that's what I get the most fulfillment out of. It's not like the YouTube stuff or like being like the center of the video. I enjoy the act of actually making something through video. Does that make sense, or am I just crazy? These are so good.